Oh, hello, welcome to Barking Station, and we're on Train Sim World 5. We've got an adventurer liveried C2C unit on our right hand side on platform 7, but we're going to be taking the diesel London Overground service to Gospel Oak. We're in that transitionary period between diesel and electrification, so I guess there would have been a time when all the services were not fully electric. Of course, strictly speaking, it should be a 172, but we don't have a 172 in the game. This is a scenario on Creators Club. Let's get things set up. Remarkably quiet unless we have the window open, actually, so it's nice to be able to hear things. And let us get the train set up. Master key on. Go into forward. Let's remember to put the AWS on. Day running, that will do us. We've got the doors open. Oh, we have now anyway. Ah, good. We have got some passengers boarding. I remember there was a time when you didn't get any passengers boarding if it was a scenario created on the Creators Club, but it looks as though they're all ready to go on there. I think I'm right in saying that I mean, there certainly is a terminus platform over on the other side, so I think that it's slightly unrealistic in that respect. And I'm guessing pretty much it could have been, we could have started from the other side. There goes the C2C train. So away we go. Wood Grange Park is our very first stop. Bit of clag going up there. Of course, not the most environmentally friendly of units. It's now, of course, completely all electric. So it's another cracking scenario from Creators Club though, and there are some terrific creations. I must give it a go creating one myself at some point. I'm told it's not massively difficult, but as ever with anything train simulator related, I'm sure it's relatively time consuming. And of course, if you want to drive something that's definitively a 172 and not a 170, then you can drive the version on Train Sim Classic, but I just love the graphics on this particular add-on. Can't believe that, I mean, that was kind of Easter, wasn't it, or just before Easter 2023 when this came out. Not massively worrying about the 30 mile an hour because it's beyond the platforms at Wood Grange Park. I've got absolutely no excuses in terms of vision because we can see the way ahead very clearly. It's a very nicely done reskin of this 170 into London Overground, complete with all the proper roundels on there as well. I think you always have to be conscious of is adapting to the braking when you're driving a new unit, having not driven it for a while, and also you're not kind of used to the length of the platforms So sort of getting me excuses in early in case I do overrun. You've got some curiously long platforms such as here where a lot of it's grassed over and isn't even accessible for the general public. Should be about right, actually. That was kind of one of the images I opted for with the thumbnail. Oh, you know, constantly trying to avoid that camera lurching about. If there was a nice mod we could do where you could avoid that, then I'd be at it like a rash, because it just spoils that artistic element to it. We do, of course, have the 378 London Overground route coming out in 2025. Thoroughly looking forward to that. Willesden Junction to Stratford. So that'll give a chance actually to put the 378 on this route as well. I mean, you can cheat a little bit. I think there are scenarios knocking about with the 377 in London Overground colours, which isn't massively far off. Wanstead Park is next. Hugely different experience driving this route though with a diesel multiple unit as opposed to the Adventurer, because you're used to that accelerating away very, very quickly. This takes a little bit more thought. We're getting the absolute best of the weather as well, aren't we, with this? I've kind of given up driving scenarios set in the extreme autumn at the moment. Though it can be nice if you can pick the right weather conditions. I did a nice run on Sunday from Carlisle to Preston at the 87, and that was absolutely beautiful. So we are calling at, well, we're at Wanstead Park at the moment, then Leytonstone High Road, London Midland Road, Walthamstow Queens Road, Blackhorse Road, South Tottenham, Haringey Green Lanes, Crouch Hill, Upper Holloway, and finally Gospel Oak. Excuse me. And I won't bother going to look at the interior of the train because, of course, that will be all fully ScotRail, because it is from the 170 and the 5-circle route, of course. I think the one thing you can't do with Creators Club is alter the interiors at the moment. That would be good if you could. There's some clever mod people out there who do some brilliant mods, particularly on the Train Sim community website. Maybe that will be a thing at some point. And every time I've ridden this route, it's kind of like, you know, in theory, look at the distance, and it should be quite boring, really. But there's so much going on every inch of the way, and I think this is one of Dovetail Games' finest routes in terms of detail, because what it lacks in terms of length, it certainly packs a lot in terms of detail. And a lot of it's kind of going along on up above the streets as well, which kind of adds a nice perspective to it. Perhaps a good time just to say at this point, if you're enjoying the video and you've not liked and subscribed to the channel before, then I'd be grateful if you would do, and hopefully we can grow this channel together. Regular live streams on a Sunday, usually at 5 o'clock, and I'm just trying to make that conscious effort in 2025 and add a little bit more by way of recording videos as well. And I'm just on the lookout for sort of interesting scenarios, really, something that grabs my attention, not just Train Sim World, but Train Sim Classic as well. I don't know if we've got any freight going on in this scenario. It'd be nice to see an odd freight service coming through. Of course, you've got the runs from Ripple Lane, and it's perfectly possible to do this in a 150 as well, harking back to the old Silverlink days with the 150 that's available at the moment from West Cornwall local. Not the best in terms of sounds. And again, thinking about routes and content coming out in 2025, at some point we are going to get the that Wales Valleys route, which is a bit of a network, some short runs in and around Cardiff, and that's got a new 150 coming in with it, hopefully with better sounds than the one that was done by Rivet Games for West Cornwall local. Can't even say that, can I? Keep saying local. But you know, I'm trying to make the idea behind the sort of the midweek videos, and there's probably never going to be more than one or two. Love to do a lot more, but it's kind of time allowing for these things. But just making shortish runs, which, you know, to be fair, is kind of probably good for everybody all round, really. I think with the live streams, it's a better time to be doing extended long runs. See, you know, at one time there's obviously very, very long platforms that were in place, but of course now long since disused. And you won't be surprised to learn that rather crept up on me, that station, kind of lurking behind a wall a little bit, so that's my excuse for, well, I would say overshooting, but you can see the passengers could very easily get on the train there. I mean, the only slight nuisance about subscribing for these reskins is it kind of means that if I do a run on the 5 circle now, unless you unsubscribe for this livery, you get then going to see it popping up on the 5 circle. I wish there was a way of making it exclusive to one route to make it a bit more realistic. So Walthamstow Queen's Road. Feels as though every station ends in road for a substantive part of this route. Desperately trying to avoid speeding. You kind of feel on high, you know, it's almost a bit like being on the top layer of a double-decker for part of this route. So we kind of come down to earth at this point. Bang on cue. It's nice to drive units, I think, that from the past on routes. I mean, I have to say, when the North London line comes out, then I'm looking forward to driving the 313 in suitably. I'm sure there's one of the Creators Club with Silverlink livery. I know that there was a period when they first electrified the line when they were using 378s before these Adventures came out, so I don't know 100% for certain if you had Adventures and these, well, we're going to call them 172s even though it's technically a 170. So Black Horse Road is next. With all the power behind this well, there's 170, we're not actually gonna, I don't think we're ever gonna get above 45 mile an hour. We've got a stretch not too far off where we get even slower than this for quite a while. So as we are going downhill, just adding a bit of brake in there. Imagine in slippery conditions when you're coming down the hill a little bit. you're having to anticipate additionally with the braking. I mean, here shouldn't be a problem really. But I mean, at least, I know a lot of people moaned about the length, or the relatively short length of this goblin line, but at least it is end to end.
Between the train and the platform, mind the gap.
And although we're not going to experience Barking Riverside on this run, and again that would feel a little bit inaccurate because at the end of the day, that only opened last year. We were a bit too premature there, weren't we, with the opening the doors? Let's unlock them again. Now we should be okay, I think. South Tottenham is next, but I don't think we're going to get a glimpse of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because I think it's some distance away. Of course, technically this line is now known officially by London Overground as the Suffragette line, but it's a little bit of a play on words really, isn't it? Calling it the Goblin line because of Gospel Oak Barking. But I think most people will carry on, certainly rail enthusiasts will always call it the Goblin line. I don't know about local commuters. So usually this 20 catches me out. Yeah, see, I'm still going way too fast for 20. Lovely scene though as you're going over the bridge. Got 45, but we've got to get the whole of the train past the marker. We have now. But I mean, there are times when you look at this and you could actually feel as though you're there. It feels that realistic. I'm sure there are some local people who know the precise buildings that in and around certain locations, and they'll say, that isn't realistic, that's a bit generic. We got the first indication of a neutral section coming up, but we don't have to worry about that driving a diesel multiple unit such as this. I know there are 1 and 2 important freight links, such as this one here. It's good that they've put the Ripple Lane aspects as well from near to Barking Riverside, so you can actually do freight. Great workings. We're going to coax this up to the line. And as you would expect, plenty of patronage of this train. And if you've not done it already, take a look at your own Train Sim World 5. Take a look at Creators Club, because there's some brilliant combinations and possibilities. And this is kind of something that you would never really find Dovetail games doing, which is to substitute a 170 for a 172. I mean, I know the purists will say it's not even close, but I think it's not a bad idea, personally. I remember when I think it was Northern Transpennine, which, you know, thoroughly enjoyed when it came out. The old Manchester Victoria to Leeds, but there was roads, there was no traffic. It felt like, you know, not so much a real world as a dead world. It's good to see we get a little bit more life nowadays. I know the passengers do strange things sometimes in the game. Well, this might be the closest we ever get to driving a 172 on this particular route. I can't realistically see that being brought out, but you never know, I suppose. Pretty quick off the mark, relatively, I would say. I know when I've driven the 158, although that goes at much higher speeds generally, it doesn't feel as though that's the best accelerator in the world. Really shortish platforms, and they just keep you on your toes. And you can see buildings as far as the eye can see, really, which is fabulous. Loving all the London Overground detail in and around the stations as well. And it just feels as though the collaboration between DTG and London Overground, it seems as though they've worked quite willingly and closely together. It's not just been a question of, well, you can use the brand name. Love the effort with the graffiti as well that's been put in. I think the last time I drove a substantial part of this route was in the bonfire night themed one, so it's nice to be driving it in bright sunshine in the daytime. I still don't think I've actually got the 66 sound in a run on this as well. Of course, it's very, very heavily used as a freight run, and of course that could carry on to Willesden Junction and then join the West Coast Main Line. So you could potentially, when the North London line comes out, you could have three parts to it. You could do that Ripple Lane through to Gospel Oak, then Gospel Oak to Willesden Junction, and then take it from Willesden Junction up to Milton Keynes. Been a bit over cautious with the brakes. Well, as always with these videos, I'm trying to do a bit of a mixture between Train Sim World and Train Sim Classic. There's kind of both sides of it, really, both interesting. But as ever, loving the graphics, hating that stupid movement though. I mean, that is one of the frustrations. It's a wonderful game sometimes, and as you can see, the graphics pretty good. But some of these things, like the bugs with the camera, the strange movement of the passengers, they've been around for years, so need a few people to sort some of these things out, and they are core problems with the game. And I suppose, like anybody, I'm very anxious to see new content coming out and excited about new content coming out, but I think bug fixing is an integral part of the game as well, and maybe not just one initial patch where you try and sort all the things out. Beyond Upper Holloway, we've got a 55 mile an hour, but then we're not that far off the end of the run, are we? Apologies, I've forgotten the name of the creator of this scenario on Creators Club, but yeah, it's been a nice run. I've really enjoyed it. Not been masses of AI traffic, but there's been enough, I think, to keep you engaged. Again, if you kind of got an inside out knowledge, you'd know where the marker was, and it's here, isn't it? Oh. Oh, the weird and wonderful world of the movement of Train Sim World 5 passengers. And I'm sure plenty of people watching will remember just a few years back to when the 172s were regularly operating up and down this line. And it's had a huge improvement really over the years, the Goblin line. I mean, there was a time when they were very much in the hands of first generation DMUs. Then the Sprinters was a bit of an upgrade, I suppose, and then the 172s certainly were. And around about the same time that the 172s came into being, there was a lot of money spent bringing the whole route up to what you might call London Overground status nowadays. It's probably gone from being a route that was slightly on the decline to being incredibly popular. I don't know how good it is in terms of seating and capacity at rush hour and all that type of thing. Apologies, by the way, if I sound as though I'm shouting, because I've kind of got a certain volume coming through the headset and it might be louder than it's coming through in real life on the stream. Right, I was kind of getting up for the 45, but it's dropped down to 40, and also we've got the 20 coming up. And then we're not too far away from the buffer stops with the end in sight of Gospel Oak. So we've got a single yellow to mark the approach into platform 3 at Gospel Oak. So I'm down to the 15 already. So put a slight bit of acceleration on because we have got an uphill climb. Don't want to grind to a halt before we even get to the platform. Love the old flange sound. If you're a real driver, you could stop off at Gospel Oak, grab yourself a coffee, and it's good to see the cafe that's there in real life represented in the kind of the island bit in between the platform and joining with the North London line. Well, here we are coming into Gospel Oak, and again, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll try and get more these recorded videos posted, as well as the weekly live stream on a Sunday where we go in for a bit longer runs. And if you enjoyed the video and you've not done so before, then please like and subscribe. Try and grow this channel. And if you've already liked and subscribed, then thank you very much. The support is absolutely massively appreciated. So that was something a bit different. The Barking to Gospel Oak line, and we were driving, well, it's a 170 really, but masquerading as a 172 in London Overground colours. So again, thanks for watching, and until next time, from Powerflower Trains and Planes, it's goodbye.